Let's do this. Welcome
to
Grand
Sumo,
Breakdown,
the
unofficial
Sumo
podcast,
for
official
Sumo
fans.
This
is Fleric.
This is Jake.
This is Ryan.
Oh, God, I love it already. This is Mac. This is going to be a glorious year.
We remembered the whole opening thing.
Yes.
I was impressed. Welcome.
Oh, my God.
For those who don't know, this is the end of our prediction series of last year. Ended with a tie, arguably not a tie, but maybe a tie between Jake and I.
And between you, Jake, and I, let's not mess up. Like, I had the same amount of points you did. You guys just had tiebreakers in your favor.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, it's not,
Let the two people who
Did
won
you see
talk.
what happened at the start of this episode? We lost like half of the
It's
viewer
madness.
count.
It was
Dogs and cats
perfect.
living together.
Indeed. So we have not yet refined how this is going to go down, but that is what we have for today. As we heard, I'm Fleric, and my voice is not doing too well right now because I am still recovering from a cold. So I'm going to kick it to still a bus driver for the year of Ryan. Take it away.
I will say, Ryan, you're correct that we the three of us kind of tied. Mac is indisputably the loser. I'm glad that we had that handled for sure.
Cheers.
Yes.
But
Well
Me
done,
and-
Mac.
me and Fleric each had
Somebody's got to be the anchor.
Yeah, exactly. You're consistent.
Exactly.
But me and Fleric each had a minor argument to break the tie to be the winner. So clearly the two of us are ahead of Ryan at least.
Yes.
And because as long as we're ahead of Ryan, we're happy. We don't necessarily have to argue about it anymore.
Yes.
We
And
can
this-
compromise.
Yeah. And this is the episode where we can go full in depth on that whole system, because this is where we're going to determine who gets to kick off every episode of Grand Sumo Breakdown for the year of 2026. Based on our predictions in 2024 and how those turned out, Jake and Fleric have earned the right to kick off the episodes throughout 2025. This is where we do battle for 2026.
Ryan is ready.
This is where I earn my place back as top billing on this podcast. I'm still driving the bus. They just get to say some words at the beginning. So,
And have our pictures above yours on the YouTube video.
Yes.
So, don't forget that. Very important.
yeah, I'm sure it is. All right. So, how this episode is going to, I still feel like we haven't resolved who's going first. We're clearly not doing that. For
Quit
every episode of the
derailing it. Let's
podcast.
continue on with the show.
So today, what we're going to be doing, we have 7, 8, 9 different categories. I don't know, somewhere in there that we're going to
Some
predict
bus
what
driver.
is going to happen throughout the year of 2025. Who's going to win the Yushos? Who's going to be promoted? Who's going to retire? And many things in between. We'll explain how we're going to score all of that throughout. And we're going to do this episode. Then we're basically going to ignore these predictions because obviously it's a year-long prediction. It's going to take a long time for us to really know the shape of how we're doing this year. So after the Nagoya Basho, after the fourth Basho of the year, we're going to get back together. We're going to catch up, see how we're doing, and kind of take a look. All right, I need this guy to do this in order for me to win at the end of the year. But I think that's enough dilly-dallying, except Jake wants to say something.
Oh, I had a minor dilly-dally if we
Okay.
if we want to dilly-dally slightly further.
Minor
What do
dilly-dally
you think
away.
about part of the fun of last year was that we had a couple little stupid side bet things going on for tiebreakers? What if
we
on that
didn't.
Nagoya what if on that Nagoya check-in maybe we wait till then and maybe make some like side prop bets to settle
That's
some
fine.
tiebreakers for the end of the year? I think
It
that could
was
be
that
fun.
Nagoya episode that earned you the
the
point 000.
that I argued for.
yeah. Hey, you know me. I'm open for wheeling and dealing. This
Yes,
doesn't need
exactly.
to be strict rules. We can make side bets. I'm all about that.
I do not anticipate spending very many years ranked higher than Ryan, so I definitely want to make the most of this one.
Yeah.
Live it up.
Let us begin then with how many Yokozuna will we have at the end of the year and who will it be? I feel like this year, like we've been stagnant since the end of 2021. It's been Terunofuji and nothing else has happened. We've predicted many things to happen. We've predicted Takakeisho to get the promotion, Kirishima to get the promotion. We've predicted Terunofuji to retire and leave the rank of Yokozuna absent for the end of the year. But this year feels like there's some momentum. Things definitely feel like we're going to break the chain of Seoul Terunofuji as Yokozuna. So, Fleric, how many Yokozuna do you think we will have at the end of this year, and who do you think they will be?
All right. I think we're going to see the sad departure of Terunofuji, but I think we're definitely going to get only one more Yokozuna back.
Ooh.
So I am going to say just one.
And
we're not going to get double promotion.
And who do you think it will be?
Oh, that is a very good question.
That's why we started with you.
That's why we started with you, man.
I know. I have to make the decision.
And no cheating off of us having us go first either.
I know.
I did kind of look ahead to see which categories I get to listen to your guys' thoughts before I have to make a call.
Oh, I don't even care.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not looking forward to question 3 when I have to go first and on a pretty hard one.
Oh, I can't wait. I think I'm just going to go chalk of Kotozakura. I think he's going to get the nod first.
Right.
Hosharu, he's still a little bit inconsistent, although he has some very high highs. But I'm going to go with Kotozakura. He's going to get it.
Okay.
As
I'm
Yokozuna by the end of the year.
I'm also with Fleric here. I think we're going to have one. The who it is, I think I don't know, because you can make argument. I don't think it'll be Terunofuji. I mean, he's got it.
The man is barely being held
predicting him
together.
to retire for the past 3-year-long predictions.
I was going to say the exact same thing. Yep.
But like, is it going to be Kotozakura? Is Kotozakura ready to have back-to-back like 14-13 win Bashos? He had a 13-win Basho last year. He had a 14-win Basho last year. And then 4 Bashos separated those that would not have gotten anywhere close to a Yokozuna promotion. So I'm not sure if I'm ready to pull the trigger on Kotozakura. The other one I'd really debate is Ono Sato. But once again, he's still a baby in sumo. He does have 2 Yusho last year, but I don't know. Part of me just feels like that might be too soon for Ono Sato. I guess my heart and my gut are pulling me closer to Kotozakura at this point than Ono Sato. So I will agree with Fleric. I will cheat off of Fleric's paper and select one Yokozuna at the end of the year, that being Kotozakura.
There you
All
go.
right. I'm next. I think that one other element to this that I agree with you on the number. I think it'll be 1. I don't think that we will see multiple promotions this year. I think we will either see 0 promotions or 1. And either of those cases would result in 1 Yokozuna at the end of the year, in my opinion. Because I think Terunofuji, if nobody gets promoted, he'll stay there. If somebody does get promoted, I think he will retire shortly after. Especially if we get like a Hakuho Terunofuji situation where like, to skip ahead, Ono Sato is my answer. Like, let's say we get to the end of a Basho though, and Ono Sato versus Terunofuji for the Yusho. Like if it was the exact repeat of the situation with Hakuho, I don't care if Ono Sato beats him or not. I think it would be a similar situation where Ono Sato could get promoted off of a loss, and Terunofuji would ride off into the sunset after that. So I think it'll be 1 whether or not somebody gets promoted.
I do want to point out there is a little bit more incentive maybe for Terunofuji to retire this year, even without the promotion of somebody else. His Oyakata, Isegahama Oyakata, will reach mandatory retirement age of 65 this year after May or July, I believe. And it's possible, I don't know the full ins and outs and the rumor mills on it, but it's possible Terunofuji could receive the Isegahama Kabu.
That would be nuts.
That would be good.
So that's another factor that's in there.
Yeah, I wonder if the other thing could be he could potentially acquire a Kabu before retiring.
I think he has one. I think he does have one right now.
I can double check that. I have it open here. But I think that
it's also a grace period as well.
Yeah, and whether or not he acquires it, he could still potentially somebody else could temporarily take over that Heia, I think, right? Like, or if it's Isegahama Heia, Beya, I think it would have to be, if somebody else was in charge for a short term, it might have to change its name too. I don't know. That's going to be a little touchy, but I appreciate you bringing that up. I do not see Terano Fuji on the list of Kabu right now, so I don't think he has one.
But he has like a couple years to figure that out.
Yeah. He doesn't have to have one the second he retires as a Yokozuna, right? Like is that the grace period you mean?
Yeah. Yokozuna have like a couple years. I think Ozeki do too. I don't remember the exact amount, but he has some time.
Sure. Regardless, I think Ono Sato. I agree. Ryan and Flerick both had great points on Koto Sakura. I'm just too much on the hype train right now, I guess.
Yeah. And it is because of that hype train that I'm going to go with 2 Yokozuna at the end of the year. That's right. I'm the anchor, which means I'm the boldest, baby. So that means
gloves are off.
2. The gloves have always been off. It's just sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't.
That's right. Mac has hot fingers. He needs no gloves.
Oh, we're hot, baby. We're hot. And in this case, I think the hotness of Ono Sato is going to continue, and I can see nothing but good things for Koto Sakura as well. He's got the youth. He's got the size. I think it's going to be fantastic. Ono Sato, come on, baby. Keep it going. Give me 2 at the end of the year.
Congratulations to Hoshoryu and his Hatsu Yusho and winning and becoming Yokozuna. The sole Yokozuna at the end of the year. Congratulations, Hoshoryu.
As we go back, I was just looking at Hoshoryu, and he's just too wild. He's just too streaky. I can't get behind him with a full bet. I want to, because I would love to see him as a Yokozuna eventually. It's just, I need more consistency out of him.
Yeah. He showed it in November. Absolutely. That's what a Yokozuna should look like. Can he show it again in consecutive Bashos? We haven't seen that back to back. So yeah, I think that's all of our issue with why we're not quite ready to pull the trigger on Hoshoryu. Maybe in 2026, 2027. Probably. But yeah.
Especially if Ono Sato gets it. He's like, this new kid got it before me? Oh, hell no.
He's going to be bad.
I think that Hoshoryu gets a lot of comparisons. So I think Kirishima did too, but comparisons to Haruma Fuji. And Haruma Fuji was an Ozeki for a long time. He racked up a handful of Yusho, and he was kind of looking like just a really good Ozeki for a long part of his career, and then just banged out 2 15-0s back to back and made it impossible not to promote him. I think that is a perfectly possible career path for Hoshoryu, where he's an Ozeki for a number of years and then all of a sudden turns another corner and achieves a new level. But yeah, I agree. It feels right now that I just won't really believe it till I see it, that he can have that high level of a performance more than a couple times a year.
All right, so that brings us to how many Ozeki will we have at the end of the year, and who will they be? Last year, everybody had Hoshoryu ending the year as Ozeki correct. 3/4 of us had the correct prediction that Koto Nowaka would be promoted up to Ozeki, obviously hence becoming Koto Sakura. We also had some bad predictions for who would be Ozeki at the end of the year.
Oh boy.
We all had Takakeisho there, and the health finally caught up to him. But we also had some of us, if we didn't have him at Yokozuna, we had him at Ozeki, and that was Kirishima, currently sitting at Maegashira 1. And then we also had...
no way we could have seen that coming.
No.
We also had somebody predicting a Daisho Ozeki run and an Itami Fuji Ozeki run. So we'll see where we end up. Oh, fuck, I start. Okay.
Ryan looks at the list.
All right, so who's up first for this incredibly hard... Oh, no.
Having put this up put this whole sheet together a half hour ago, I forgot that I made myself first for this one.
This is a tough one.
I feel like 3. 3's a good number.
3, all right.
I like 3. 3's a good, safe number. I don't feel like... Because I've got one person going up. That's Koto Sakura, so he's not going to be Ozeki at the end of the year. I don't think Hoshoryu or Ono Sato are getting demoted, so those are my first 2. And then I just don't think that right now there's 2 other people that, I'm not going to say 4. I don't think there's 2 other people ready to make that Ozeki run at this point. And I'm kind of torn between 2 Rikshi on who I select. Wakataka Kage's been very hot since he came back. He was kind of on the verge of Ozeki before he got injured last year, but he is also 30 years old at this point. And so might it be too late? It might not. He could still make it up. He's been looking great despite being 29 late last year, turning 30 in December. And the other one, kind of wild card, could he be Ono Sato like? Could Takeru Fuji run through everybody and kind of quickly make his way up to the Ozeki rank? And I just can't believe that that's going to happen.
Yeah, that's
twice.
a tough one.
So I'm gonna go with Wakataka Kage. He's in position right now. He's been doing great facing this competition. So I think Wakataka Kage, like, he might get something where it's like, all right, you had 32 wins, but you've been Sekiwake for like the past 4 basho with like 11,
Sure.
11, 10. We'll give you Ozeki, something like that. So I've got Hoshoryu, Onosato, and Wakataka Kage.
Solid picks.
Jake, who do you got?
I was going to do the exact same thing, but with...
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you were going to do that.
well, I was going to say, except with Onosato and Kotozakura switched, because...
Oh, fair.
Yeah, so not quite. But Wakataka Kage is definitely the guy that I think is closest. Like, if he put up the same record in the next 3 as he did in his last 3, that's 33 wins. So that would do it. Obviously, he's facing tougher competition now than he was at Maegashira, 14 or 17 or whatever he was at.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's tough to say that he might do it. I still believe in Atami Fuji as a like regular hot prospect, as opposed to like the white hot uber prospects that Onosato and Takeru Fuji have been. So Atami Fuji's kind of on my list. Daisho's perpetually in that spot where we know that he can do that, but like I don't think that he will. Even Wakamoto Haru and Abi are kind of like knocking on that door of being at that level, so they're kind of tough. And I'm stalling for time, but my final answer, I think I'm gonna go the same thing as Ryan, but with my Yokozuna promotion switched.
Okay.
I was saying it before he was injured, but Wakataka Kage, I think he was gonna make Ozeki if his knee didn't go out a year and a half ago or whatever that was.
He was Sekiwake for 7 consecutive basho. He had some like 8 wins and 9 wins in there, but if you're consistently at that level, I feel like eventually you're gonna.
He's certainly through. Even like Mitake Yumi and Shodai were able to like eventually roll the dice and have them come up properly 3 times in a row, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Everybody in the Sanyaku right now, I feel like could make Ozeki, and I would not be shocked by it. But yeah, I'll pick Wakataka Kage too.
I'm going to go with a little safer bet on this one. So I'm just going to do 2, and I'm going to say Hoshoryu because he's not going to be promoted to Yokozuna this year. Now, again, thank you so much for being gracious, future Yokozuna Hoshoryu, who we completely knew would have a dynamite 2025. Yes. But just in case you don't, you're going to stay at Ozeki. And then, I got to go with Wakataka Kage, another guy that's on fire. And like you were saying, Jake, had his knee not blown up. Please stay healthy. I'm knocking on my desk wood right now. That he makes Ozeki this time around because he looks good.
Oh, right. That's right. I forgot you had Onosato and Kotozakura both going up.
Yep, so, I had them both going up.
So far,
we're all at least being internally consistent still.
Yes.
All right, Flerick, and like Max said last time, he was pulling up the rear, so he had to be bold. So what's your bold prediction? Everybody who's last has to completely throw out what they want to do out the window and just be bold and
gloves off, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, joke's on you. This is actually what I wanted to do. I'm very bold. I'm going to go with 3 as well. I'm going to keep Hoshoryu and Onosato as my wild card. I think everyone's sleeping on Kirishima. I think he still has some fire left in him.
I did think about him, but he hurt me with that last one in November. I believed in him.
I'm sleeping on him too, and I'm sleeping soundly.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. I like it as a wild card, though.
Yeah, I think he has some fire left in him. I think his body, he can probably figure it out. He's been there before, so I think once he gets, this time he might finish the. I think he's going to start the year out pretty strong, and he's going to get an Ozeki promotion before the end.
well-known Wakataka Kage hater, Fleric, the only person not elevating to Ozeki.
Yeah.
Hey, that
But I will
could
point
serve
out-
him.
I will point out in 2023, when Kiri Bayama was promoted to Ozeki, Fleric was the only one who predicted that. So Fleric, the only one predicting Kirishima here, could be a sign of things to come for him. So
Let's go.
we'll move on to what's probably the hardest one to predict here. Who are going to be our 6 Yusho winners this year?
And
Last
of
year,
course,
one
I get
of us
to go first.
Yep.
Last year, one of us did really good in this category. That was me. I got 4 out of 6 correct, including Koto Zakura's Yusho, Onosato Yusho. I did great. I was happy. Everybody else got only 1 correct. So we'll see how it goes this year. I do have our overall hit rate. We're pretty much even across the board. We've done these predictions for 4 years now. This will be our 4th year. Right? So no, we've done this 3 years in the past. So
3 years.
no, we've done this 4 years in the past. This is our 5th year. I apologize. I've been going back and forth. I'm sorry. So yes, we've predicted 24 U shows. Out of those 24, Jake and Fleric have gotten 9 correct. Mac has gotten 8 correct, and I've gotten 10 correct. So we're all within the same range of not about a third of them.
We're
we
all
can
getting
predict at the
2 or
beginning
3
the
of
year.
them per year, correct?
Yeah.
Which, I don't know, about a third? That sounds about right for
That
us.
sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Yeah. All right, Jake, who do you got?
I got 1 Terano Fuji.
Boom.
I got 2 Onosatos, and I got a Koto Zakura. I do think that this year is a bit ripe for some weirdness. So let's see. Let's take a Wakataka Kage as he goes on that Ozeki run that I've promoted or predicted, and then we're gonna have a weird one. I think the safe bet for getting a wild card win would be Takeru Fuji, but I do think that because we only saw him in that one real Yusho win so far, like this 10-5 feels like he was getting back on track this last boss show, right? But the one before that, he was mostly feasting on lower division guys until he did get a few upper or lower ranked guys.
Mid rankers.
Yeah. So I'm not confident that if he continues to get promoted at this rate that he will. I worry that he'll hit a ceiling. There's other ones that I want to pick, like Hirodomi. I feel like he's somebody that could he's primed for that wild card popping completely off out of nowhere kind of basho. Hakuoho is back in the top division. We saw a lot of good things out of him before he got injured. I mentioned before I'm still an Atami Fuji believer. I would be surprised if he didn't get 1 by the end of his career at the rate that he's going. But I do think that I'll leave the boldness for the guys copying off my homework. I'll stick with Takeru Fuji as my 6th, my wild card. So yeah, a lot of recency bias for sure, but that's kind of how these predictions always go.
Yeah.
I think Terano Fuji will get 1, his last one. I think Onosato will get 2. I bet you he'll get a Jun Yusho in there too, but that won't. That's fine. I don't know. I feel the worst about the Takeru Fuji one. I think that's just basing too much on too small a sample size. But yeah, if we do just happen to have 2 generational prospects at the same time in Onosato and Takeru Fuji, I would blow my mind, but like it's certainly possible. Oh well. What do you think, Mac?
Not copying off your homework, I'm just going to move one of those Takeru Fuji wins over to Koto Zakura. So I'm thinking Terano Fuji gets 1 win, Onosato definitely gets 2, and Koto Zakura gets his 2 to get promoted up, and then the wild card for me is Wakataka Kage. Think he can bust one out and actually do really well and get that Yusho and get that promotion up to Ozeki. So I'm trying to keep my predictions in line. I haven't always done that all these years. So I'm like, all right, what could feasibly happen?
The
And of course, it's all
internal
gonna get thrown out.
consistency, you mean? Yeah, absolutely.
Right. That's what I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a conscious effort this year and not just be the chaotic joy that I usually am when I do this. I'm like, all right, what could actually happen with one of these?
And make sure that they could all happen at the same time.
Exactly.
Okay, next up is Fleric for this one.
All right. Let me look at my notes that I just just made. I am closer to the end, so I am gonna actually be a little bit. I have a little bit of out there a wild card take. I'm gonna go with 0 Yushos from Teruno Fuji.
Oh,
I think his time has come. He's gonna feel like he has to enter a basho, and it's not gonna go well for him. And then he's gonna call it because someone else is gonna get the Yokozuna promotion. So I have 2 for Kotozakura. I actually am going to change this from how I wrote down. I have 2 for Hoshoryu, 1 for Onosato, which leaves me 1 Yusho left by my count. And don't say I didn't give nothing for this guy, but I think Wakataka Kage has at least maybe 1 wild card win in him. But he's not going to put him in the right order to get that Ozeki promotion.
Fair.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. Yeah, I feel like we're all pretty much on the same page here. For the most part, I'm gonna give. I typically like to think of this: how is the year gonna play out? And so in January, I think Teruno Fuji comes back. He's strong. We're gonna deny both Kotozakura and Hoshoryu Yokozuna promotion at this point. I did look it up. Isegahama Oyakata will turn 65 on July 6th, meaning that he will be done prior to the Nagoya Basho. So I feel like things in sumo kind of have a way of timing out properly, where like Hakuho was in his last Basho, and here comes Teruno Fuji to rise to Yokozuna. So I feel like we might have something similar to. So I think we're gonna have Ono Sato in
March.
That's the month. But I don't. But then I think that's going to be like a Kotozakura strong Jun Yusho, and then in May Kotozakura gets a Yusho there. So I've got Ono Sato, Kotozakura, and then in July we'll give Hoshoryu 1 because he's angry now. We'll give.
He's angry. We better give him one.
We'll give Kotozakura another one in August, but September? Really, because that's when it happens. I don't know why I'm struggling with
Aki, man.
months so much.
We're 4 days into 2025. You can't forget how calendars work here.
And then, so I had one of my things that I'd said on our award show. One of the things I wanted is like I want all the Yushos to be Yokozuna or above. So I'm not going to go with any crazy wild cards like I have in the past with like a Takanosho, Oki no Umi, or Ono Sato.
I hit on one of them.
Well, hey.
Yeah, that was when like Tamawashi had just won a Yusho. What'd you want from me?
I'm just saying, I don't think there's a time period where that's a good pick.
Yeah.
So I need to think. I think I'll give one more to Ono Sato at the end of the year. So yeah, I've got Teruno Fuji, 2 for Ono Sato, 2 for Kotozakura, 1 for Hoshoryu. I think Wakataka Kage makes it without the benefit of a Yusho, but I think our current top 4 guys kind of cement themselves while Teruno Fuji bows out after May.
Gotcha.
Again, we're all pretty much gut feeling consistency here.
Yeah.
A lot of Ono Sato and Kotozakura on this list, for sure.
Weird. Kotozakura won the last one, and Ono Sato won 2 last year.
Unbelievably out of the blue, our picks. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So next we have who will finish the year with the most wins and how many wins we will have. So for scoring, how we did this last year, if you're within 5 of the final point total, you get a point. I think that's too large of a range. Because last year, the final point total was 66. So if you were anywhere between 61 and 71, you would get a point for that.
Yeah. How many of us were?
All of us.
Ah, okay.
So
I think that's the more critical data point here for deciding if we change the rules or not.
yeah. So I would just tighten that range up to maybe be like 2 on either side. So if the win total was 66, if you were from 64 to 68, you get it.
Fellow Yokozuna Fleric, what do you think? Here as the top 2 vote havers, what should we decide?
That's a very good point.
I don't. I'm honestly totally
sure.
fine with that, but
Yeah.
I just want to, as long as we can rub it in Ryan's face that we're allowing him to change the rules, I think that I'm okay with changing the rules.
You are on the same wavelength as me, fellow Yokozuna Jake. This sounds fantastic. We will allow you, Ryan, to set these rules. It pleases us.
Would a kingly like proceed kind of wave, would that do the trick for you?
Yes.
We'll leave right now.
Okay, so does that mean that there's an overall range of 5 where you could get points? You could be 2 below up to 2 above.
Yeah.
And dead on gets you a bonus point.
Yes. Which, if we had that rule last year, we wouldn't have this controversy with Jake and Flair being tied. I would have gotten 1 more point than both of you.
Wow, what a surprise. That's why Ryan's changing the rules.
Yeah, exactly, because it benefits me. Also, another point on this one. None of us have ever predicted which rickshaw will have the most wins in a year. We've done this prediction 4 times. We've had 16 total guesses between the 4 of us over 4 years. And not a once have we predicted which rickshaw will end the year with the most wins. So, Mac, let's
can we
see
pick
if you can
4
change...
different guys this year? Can we coordinate? Can we take 4 swings at the same pitch?
I have a feeling we're going to be split between 2 guys.
Yeah. I think so too.
So I'm gonna lead off with future Yokozuna Ono Sato and say yes, I think he's going to do it. I think he's gonna have a breakout year. He's got youth, he's got size. Why not? And just why not, really? And looking at of the total possible 90 matches, 15-0, probably not gonna happen all that often. Might have a couple here and there, but breaking it down, I'm gonna say 70. I'm going to give him benefit of the doubt and say, all right, he's going to have a couple. I can see him doing maybe a couple of 12s, maybe an 11 or a 13, but I'm like, all right, I'm going to go in the middle and say 70 because he might have a bad tournament here and there.
All right, Flair, you're up next.
That's a very dominant year, I think, with 70.
Well, for a future Yokozuna.
That's a very good point. So looking at this, I've noticed there's a trend of where the rickshaw who won it the year prior did not win it the win next. So because my gut feeling is Kotozakura is a pretty good choice. But going off that trend, it's hard to keep that consistent for 2 years in a row.
Well, if we were doing this show 10 years ago, Hakuho would have had the win like 6 years in a row already.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's a good
We got to
point.
remember, we're in like an historically chaotic era of sumo where there has not been like 1 or 2 solely dominant people for a stretch of multiple years.
Agreed. So I'm gonna feel bad about this, but I'm still gonna go for it. I'm gonna go with Kotozakura as the one with the most wins, 2 years in a row. That's gonna be unprecedented for a long time. But with all the chaos going around, I'm gonna go with 66 wins, not 70.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be a very back and forth year. Still.
The exact win total for Kotozakura this year, that he won the most wins.
Oh god, that is just copying last year.
Shit. Apparently.
Hey,
I was going to go 68.
Hey, no, go with
I
it.
need to bump that down.
If you made that prediction last year, you would have gotten all the points. So.
Yeah.
I know. Let's go.
I too, I have 1 Yokozuna at the end of the year. It would make sense if they are my rickshaw that I think will have the most wins. So I'm going to have Kotozakura. That's my guy this year.
Copy me again.
I am copying you, but I'm also going to copy Mac, and I'm going to say 70 wins.
All right.
No.
That's
I'm
a
going to be
lot.
slightly more optimistic than Mac. 71 wins.
Oh, your price is writing me, you asshole.
Just under 12 wins per basho for Kotozakura.
So here I have a bit of a take that I'm glad you guys are locked in before I say. When you are a Yokozuna, you don't have to compete in all 90 matches necessarily.
True.
So that's why I'm not picking Ono Sato, the guy that I do predict to get to Yokozuna. I think that
he's going to take some off?
I think that if I had the choice to sit on my butt for the first time in several years, I would probably take that. So yeah,
I don't think
know.
they just take breaks
I was about
because
to
they
say,
want
whoa.
to.
I think they all want to, though. And if you give somebody permission to, it's not like, I mean, Ono Sato has not shown any signs of like injury, but that doesn't mean he feels great every morning when he wakes up, right? So I think that the place that I'm predicting the most wins is going to be the Ozeki promotion range, and I'm going to say Wakataka Kage. So then it makes me feel better that we have 3 different people on this list now.
Once again, congratulations, Hoshoryu. Rikshi
absolutely blowing us out of the-
2025.
With how many would it have to be? 73, so nobody gets points. But no, for Wakataka Kage, I will say, I want to say 69. Nice, but I'm going to go with 65.
Ooh, okay.
Flair did predict 69 wins last year. Nice for his.
Well done.
I'm going to go back and look to see if somebody at least once per year has selected 69 for the number of wins.
Oh, if we haven't, then I'll switch mine for the memes.
No, 2023 we didn't. So.
Okay, if it's not tradition, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay. I like your take of picking someone in the Ozeki run range. I think that's actually pretty
good.
wise. Because looking back, I think for the most part that was kind of correct. Wakataka Kage was kind of on that way. I think Kirishima with his 62.
That's
to 2023. That's when he got his promotion.
The last 2 years, that has been the case. That the guy winning has been somebody that gets promoted to Ozeki. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'd be curious to. I know it's not super simple to just look it up and have an answer immediately, but I would love it if we had more data on this trend. But I don't know. Maybe that's a project for another time.
All right.
Looks like I'm up first for the next one here.
Yep. So who is going to make their Sanyaku debut this year? Nobody got this right last year. We had 3 people that selected Atami Fuji, who was knocking on the door the entire year. He wasn't ranked lower than Maegashira 3 throughout the entirety of 2024, but he was never able to put it together enough to make it in the Sanyaku ranks. And we also had a Gonoyama vote thrown in there, probably to piss me off.
So I was looking ahead at this one.
Cheater. What?
I was looking ahead. If you look at the Bansuke, and let's just narrow it down to, I don't know, Maegashira 1, 2, 3. Which of those guys have not been in the Sanyaku before?
3 of them.
And 2 of them are the exact ones you just called out as the ones we picked last year, and they were bad picks. So, 2nd year in a row, Atami Fuji is going to make his Sanyaku debut. Final answer. Oho is the other one. He's at Maegashira 3 West and has never been in the Sanyaku, but yeah.
Other options. So yeah, let's lay out who the options would be. So Atami Fuji, Gonoyama, Oho. Then you got to go down to Maegashira 5, Chiyoshoma. Maegashira 6, Ichi Yamamoto. And then Roga at Maegashira 8, Maegashira 9, Shura no Umi and Oshoma. And then you've got Takeru Fuji at Maegashira 11, as well as Midori Fuji.
Yeah.
Onokatsu.
Atami Fuji and Gonoyama are the best picks for this one still.
Yeah. And then there's a handful of others down below Maegashira 12.
Has Kageyaki been in the Sanyaku before?
Oh, God.
Wow.
But
His
2025
high rank, I want to say Maegashira 5. Oh no, Sumo DB, not at this instant. When
it's not working. I tried.
He's been up to Maegashira 3. Hey, secret trick for Sumo DB: if you go back to whatever the last page that actually will load, you can just mouse over their name, and it will give you a quick summary of their stats, including at the very end,
Maegashira 3,
their highest rank,
their career highest rank. Exactly.
Sweet, I was right.
You said 5.
No, I said 3. You idiot! Play the tape back. And if I said 5, I
physically can't
3.
do that. maybe when I'm editing this later, I'll realize you're right, and I will never mention it again.
Yeah,
but I heard 5, so we can move on though.
Well, I feel like the Rikshi, formerly known as Go Wado, is going to impart upon his pupil some very, very good, not great, but good knowledge of how to be an Ozeki, and I think that's going to help at least bolster Go Noyama up into the joy ranks.
I'm sorry,
Sanyaku debut. So yeah, I think it's gonna happen.
I appreciate that you're making a pick to piss Ryan off right now.
That way Flair doesn't have to sacrifice his
all
pick
good
to do the same.
I got it.
Is it me or you?
It's Ryan's next.
Go ahead.
I could go the easy route, Atami Fuji, but I want to make sure that we're not having happened with this category what happens with the who's going to finish the year with the most wins. So I'm going to spread out our love a little bit.
Oh, we can pick Oho?
No,
Oh.
God, no. Oh.
It's right there.
But
The disgust
I
on
might
Ryan's
not
face.
think he's going to make it to Ozeki this year, but I do think he will tickle the Sanyaku ranks. So I'm going to go with Takeru Fuji.
Wow. Your phrasing.
Oh, he'll just tickle
Just
a little
tickle
ways
it.
up
Just
there,
tickle a little bit.
Oh, I hate
Little
that so
tickle.
much. I hate that so much.
Yeah, I was gonna say y'all are crazy. I'm going with Takeru Fuji too. I think he's gonna tickle, and then I think he's gonna go for a full scratch or
Yeah, what's the
something a
next?
little bit more suggestive.
The
Yeah,
slap. That's slap and tickle.
full on Supari right onto the Sanyaku ranks.
Yeah, I don't
That's
think
right. I'm here.
I don't think we go past the word tickle with this gag without passing, through the PG-13 rating we try to stick to.
Oh, we try to.
I said try. I didn't say
We don't
do
try
that.
very hard.
It's gotten looser and looser as the years have
I'm
gone
pretty
on.
sure we've already used up our one F-bomb for the episode.
You're welcome.
Yeah. 1980s rules.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Next is how many Rikshi will be making their top division debut
Oh, son
this
of a-
year. And Matt gets to go
And Matt-
first on the
No.
Jurio category.
I hate this one.
And then also, name one Rikshi that you think will be promoted. So you'll get a point for if you get the number exactly right, and you get a point if your Rikshi is promoted. So most likely the points coming from if you get the Rikshi or not. So last year in 2024, just for reference, 9 Rikshi made their top division debut, and we are starting 2025 with one top division debut in Tama Shoho, who is debuting in the Hatsu Basho for the first time at 31 years old. As Jake and I talked about on the Bansuke episode, the 8th oldest Rikshi ever to be making their top division debut. So, Mac, how many Rikshi are coming up from Jurio this year for the first time, and which one do you have the most confidence in making it?
Tamashoho is so much younger than us.
I know.
He's on the list for oldest of some category, and he was born in June of '93.
I don't
I
like
still
God,
like
we're
look
ancient.
at like somebody at Tamashoho. I'm like, yeah, God, this guy's so old, and I forget. Like, yeah, I still view myself as like a man in his young 20s.
Yeah.
as I look at everybody else in comparison to me and forget I'm in my mid 30s.
God, he's not just younger than me; he's younger than my little brother. Like,
All right. I'm going to go with.
all right, sorry, Matt, go on.
No, you're good. You're good. I appreciate you stalling a little bit. So I'm like, I gotta make up my mind. I'm gonna go with 6. I'm gonna say 6 guys are gonna make their debut this year, and I just looking at recency, KO actually looks pretty good. He's had 2 consistent winning records these past 2 tournaments, 8-7, and then 11-4. So I think he can hold it, and I think he'll make his debut.
Okay, I'm next. I was trying to do the math here. I don't think we're going to have as many as we did this year. I don't want to predict the same number. I feel like there's a lot of old heads at the top of Jurio right now, and I feel like we might get kind of like a lot of back and forth. So I'm going to go with 5. I'm going to say it's a lot less this year, but I'm most confident and excited about Aonishiki, and I'm going to be rooting for him to be coming up from Jurio. I'm not going to take the easy route and take the Jurio 1 guy that just needs an 8-7 record in Hatsu. I should.
Duh.
That's the smartest way to play this. But I'm going to go with Aonishiki because I am very confident he'll make it up to the top division this year. And he's sitting at Jurio 5 currently.
There we go.
All right, Flair, you're up.
I'm just gonna go with 8 because why not?
8. All right.
And
yeah.
I'm gonna go with I'm not gonna go with the one right. Just needs 8-7 to get the promotion. I'm gonna go one
answer. You wouldn't feel good about it.
Yeah, I want it. I'm gonna go 1 down.
Points, you
Shiden
assholes.
to Jurio 2 east of Shiden
Okay, there we go, Fleric.
because why not? And let's go.
If Shiden gets promoted to the top division, he will take Tamashoho's slot as the 8th oldest guy
Oh, really?
to get promoted.
Oh, is he old?
Oh, he might actually even be
Flair, guys,
higher
regrets.
up on there.
He's
born,
33 years old.
Yeah, so he'd even be
Old as
higher than.
fuck.
Oh, now I'm cheering for Shiden.
I'm last. I'm for
Yeah,
sure
you're
going Kaio
anchoring.
because I need
Bold.
points.
Jake already feels that he's behind on the year and needs the extra points.
Yeah, Ryan took Aonishiki, which would have been my other pick, but like, yeah, Kai, I'm taking one that's more likely to get me the point here.
At least Fleric and I can stand on our morals.
That's
Good for
right.
you.
Morals.
I hope you enjoy your morals as you lose to me for the second year in a row.
Don't please no.
I am
handle
also going to copy the other half of my homework and say that I agree with Ryan with 5. I think that there's, like Ryan said, basically the top half of Juryo is all guys that have been popping back and forth to the top division, except for a few of these guys. Yeah, so Kaio, Aonishiki, I think Fuji Seiyun is another prospect we've seen.
That's another good one.
The name floating around. He's like 25-ish. Is Oshomi another one? Yeah, he's only 23.
he's in there.
And he's at his career highest rank.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, there's certainly prospects. There's always a few, but yeah, I think maybe by this count, I'm going to switch it to 6. I'll say 6 guys will make their top division debut this year.
I see. You're copying me. Fantastic.
Oh God, did you say 6 in Kyle?
I said 6 too.
All right, fine.
Correct.
Mac, 2 year in a row last place guy. How about I have the same answer as him?
Anchoring, baby.
All right, what else we got?
Our last category, we've been talking about who's going to be rising up higher than they ever have in their career for these past couple of categories. Let's talk about the guys who are at the tail end of their career and who are going to be saying goodbye to sumo in 2025. How many Rikishi that are currently in the top division as of the Hatsu 2025 Bansuke do we think will retire? So we're locked in with these 42. This is the group of Rikishi that we have to decide who will retire. Like if somebody like Sada Naomi makes it up next Basho in March, he's up there, and then he retires in September, that wouldn't count. He's not in the top division for January.
Okay.
So
that changes things.
Last year, there were 5 Rikishi that were on the Hatsu 2024 Bansuke that retired. Some of their own volition, some not so much. We had Hokuseiho, Takakeisho, Aoyama, Miyogiryu, and Onosho snuck in at the end of the year for a 5th retirement. So me starting this up, I didn't do as much prep for this, and this is the one that I feel like I need the most prep for. Like, I feel good with saying like somebody like Terano Fuji could retire. And then let's just throw in 2 more. I don't know. I don't feel like too many crazy retirements this year. I'm going to go with 3.
We definitely shed some of the guys that we'd been expecting to retire for a number of years.
Yeah. And I am going to just go with Terano Fuji as my
Smart.
will retire.
Interesting.
Even though I've predicted him to retire for 3
It's
consecutive
gonna
years
happen.
now. One of these years, I have to be
Broken
right.
clock's right twice a day.
If I'm familiar with the linear nature of time, he will retire. Like, it's going to happen.
Interesting. Okay. Looking at these, Yiz and Juryo, I am going to go with 3 as well. And I'm going to call him out because why not? Terano Fuji, I think this is his year. Injuries, and he can do it now that he has his successors looking like they're going to take up the mantle of Yokozuna. Tamawashi, he got the most wins as
most,
a career,
most
I believe.
bouts, I think it was.
Mm.
Most
Bouts,
consecutive
yeah.
bouts.
He got that record, so I think that's one thing he was kind of going for. And he's 40. What the hell? He's still sticking around. I think at this point he's like, what am I doing here? I think he's gonna call it. And I'm gonna throw in the best ass round of Takara Fuji, even though he had a pretty good showing in this last Basho from what I remember. But he still ended up with an 87 looking at the records.
I thought we only had to name one. You're naming all of them?
I think he's calling his shot, but you do got to pick
he's
one
calling
to
his
get
shot. That's
the
what I was like. I thought we just had to do one.
He needs to have
wait.
1 as his official guess.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So I think Takara Fuji is gonna be the other. And the one I feel the best about, I'm gonna go a little wild card, different from Ryan. I'm gonna go with Tamawashi.
Iron Man.
The 2 names that I was thinking of were Takada Fuji and Tamawashi.
Yeah. I definitely have
Way to
those
call-
guys.
Way to copy my answers, everyone.
Yeah. Way to go, Ryan.
Flair.
I'm gonna say 4 retirements. To stay internally consistent with my earlier answers, Teruno Fuji has to be one of them. But I also think that Takara Fuji, Tamawashi are definitely come front of mind. I think a couple other ones that would not surprise me at all include Mitakiyumi and Endo. I think both of those guys have been around for long enough and have shown enough consistent decline that it might finally be time. Couple other guys that are in like maybe the B tier of guesses here include Takayasu, Shodai.
Ooh.
I might even toss in Hokuto Fuji, who's not super old, but he's been around a while and he's got miles on him. Yeah.
Nishikigi.
I think there's also other guys that have had injury issues that might make them a surprise, which could include Takayasu again. Kirishima with it sounds like he's had some spinal issues and anything like that.
His neck too.
Yeah, specifically spinal injuries though are ones where it's like, I don't care how old you are. If you're dealing with that long term, it's time to be done, like Takakeisho. So yeah, and then I bet you at least one of these will be surprising. Like, I don't know, Meisei or something could be somebody that just retires for something that we weren't really aware of.
Oh no, Sato says, nope, I hit the top, I'm done. Bye.
Yeah. He gets promoted to Yokozuna and he's like, I've achieved everything here. Time to move on to my next adventure. And he becomes like the greatest, I don't know, arborist in the world. Who knows? He's still young. He's got time to switch careers if he wants. Teruno Fuji's my lock pick though.
All right.
But yeah, I think you guys are guessing a little low. I'm even worried that 4 is too low. Cause yeah, there's still a decent number of guys that could be calling it quits this year.
Okay.
And it's because everybody is so low that I'm going to go bold and say 5. One more.
10 people retiring this year?
What do you mean, 10 people? No.
You said bold. I assumed it had to be at least double
15
digits.
people, Mac? Wow.
All
that's
42
so
are gone. The entire top division is
Sumo
just gone.
folds this year.
No, but I think of the list you named, like, yeah, I could see definitely 3. Teruno Fuji, Takara Fuji, Hokuto Fuji. Those are the 3 that really stood out on my list. And then I'm thinking 2 more that could possibly shock us. Tamawashi, he's just going to keep fighting. So I'm like, all right, maybe him. So he's kind of that half a point. But then, yeah, like you said, Mitakiyumi and Endo. Endo is so streaky. Mitakiyumi, I don't know if he's got enough fight in him. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna say 5 on this one. But Takara Fuji is my lock this year.
If Tamawashi were to finish this year without retiring, he would be 41 years old at the end of the year. He is currently 40 years old. The one person we actually can look up to and be like, yeah, he's old.
Hey, buddy.
He's old.
We need him to stick around so that we're not like older than everybody in the top division.
It's going to
him
happen
and Takara
eventually.
Fuji.
Yeah, Takara Fuji, Sadano Umi, who's not in the top division, but has been for a while. Oh, God, Nishikigi's younger than us, too.
Yeah.
Good Lord. How old's Teruno Fuji? Oh, God, yeah, he's a couple of years younger than us, too.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Man.
Sorry.
We old guys.
This sucks.
I did have one more idea for a category if we wanted to throw it in there. I'm not sold on it, but I will throw it out. We could do like a prediction who's going to have the most special prizes this year because we don't really touch on those. But if you wanted to, I don't.
Yeah.
I'm not sold on it.
I'm not sold on it either. I don't have anyone that's
hypothetically, would anybody pick anybody other than Takeru Fuji?
I was thinking Wakataka Kage.
That's the only other one I was thinking was Wakataka Kage.
You're not eligible for special prizes if you are Ozeki or Yokozuna, so you can't. You'd have to rule out Onosato and Hoshoryu might have been my other picks because those guys can. You got to pick somebody who not just wins the Yusho, but also like pops off with something wild for
maybe
like
Nabi.
Somebody,
maybe Nabi can get it.
Somebody I forgot about. Haku Oho could be an interesting one for some of these categories, like making his Sanyaku debut. If we were to do most special prizes, Yokozuna by the end of the year, maybe. I mean,
that's a stretch.
Yeah,
I think for him, we only got that one tournament where he was in the top division.
We need more.
He only had, let's see, in 4 tournaments, he only had a total of 10 losses on his way up. But since coming back from those shoulder injuries, like he's still very good. Like obviously anybody who makes it to Makuuchi is still very good, but like he hasn't had like the complete lights out performances that he had prior to that injury. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sure we'll talk about him more on our preview episode, but like I saw him there and he felt like a tempting pick, but I definitely left him off of my decision so far.
It wasn't intentional on my part. It was completely, oh yeah, this guy exists as I'm looking at the bottom of the Bansuke
Hey, look at that.
right now.
Yeah, who's this Abi guy who didn't get mentioned once during this episode?
There's good reason Abi didn't get mentioned once this episode.
I predict him to do very well in our popularity poll. Sorry,
Which category?
Which one?
Yeah, very well at a specific category this year. Oh well. Do you guys have any
predictions
outside of Pro Sumo?
Outside of
what
Pro Sumo?
What do you think? What else do you think is just going to happen this year in general while we're prognosticating?
I don't know. I'm going to be very disappointed at some point in the month of January due to the results of football. I can
For sure.
just about guarantee that.
Don't.
Yeah, I am going to be very happy due to the results of football. I'm going to say Liverpool are going to win the Premier League. It's
Okay.
damn
I
good.
like
Fake football. I see.
Fake football.
Oh, yes, fake football.
The fake stuff.
That's right.
I predict that the rack I am building this weekend for my son's monster trucks will, long before the end of the year, not be big enough for my son's collection of monster trucks.
Stacking them up pretty quickly.
Oh God, yeah. The little die-cast ones. I'm building a shelf that will hold nearly twice as many as he has right now. But yeah, those things. When people hear your kid is into monster trucks, you do not stop receiving monster trucks. So yeah, that I bet you that shelf will be obsolete by June. Yeah, first 5 months of the year. I bet we fill that thing.
Nice.
I predict come May, I will be so fed up with education and never go back.
I'll believe that when I see it.
I know. That's why I'm like, all right, it's a bold prediction. We'll see.
How many masters do you have?
This will be 2.
Yeah. How many do you want?
I am honestly debating PhD, so we'll see.
Yeah, I knew it. How long have you been out of classes?
For like a long stretch of time? The longest I've been out of class is probably 2 years.
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
I took 2 years off and I was like, all right, let's go back.
This is boring. I want to go back to school.
Yeah. I've learned a lot of really cool stuff.
what I meant was, how long has it been since your most recent class ended? Was it just fall semester here at Iowa State?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So you're on like 2.5 weeks or something like that.
Yep, and I start back up in another 2 weeks.
You do start back up. Okay, I knew it. I knew you were doing more.
Oh yeah, no, that's why I was like, how long have I been out of school? I'm like, the longest stretch.
You
I've
thought I meant like ever total.
Yeah, ever. I was like, yeah, 2 years in between my bachelor's and then my first master's.
Yeah, and I was like, how long since classes have ended for you?
Oh yeah, no, I was like, hang on, you gotta give me some specifics.
Yeah. Oh man.
No, I think I predict the same thing, but for my wife. About the time of July when she's wrapping up her second master's, I think she's going to be done with school for quite a long time. Might go back for the PhD, but she is very much fed up with the whole classes and all that stuff right now. Especially not happy with her last class that she did.
Yeah.
Oh, I got one more little one. I predict that I will get some monarch butterflies in my garden this year.
Ooh.
My dad has spent the last couple of years like. You know how I get about projects? They're usually like sumo or spreadsheet related, but his project has been butterflies. So he has like data he has collected on like which plants, and he gave me seeds for swamp milkweed and Mexican sunflower. And he like straight up finds the eggs before they hatch in his milkweed garden, and raises monarchs from egg all the way to releasing them. Before they go down to Mexico.
Nice.
So yeah, there's just as wide and dedicated a community to raising pollinators as we have found in being sumo fans. So
Honestly, if you want to send some of that stuff over our way, Gabby would be all about that.
yeah, it's one of the many niches out there that there are people that have like dedicated their lives to. The way that we do sumo, they do butterflies and collecting monster trucks, as I have told you guys about. There, I have found many resources online to regarding collecting these toy monster trucks. I love discovering these niches. Any other predictions for the year, or should we call it a day there?
I think let's call it a day there. I can't think of anything else because I'm only going to predict things that I know will happen. So,
well, then what was the last hour?
You know, just a spoiler for 2025.
Okay.
You watch and see. This is my year. I'm gonna get them all.
Oh man.
All right. For GSB, throw
your
salt
high
and
keep
moving
forward.